Master your mind, elevate your soul. Most human beings spend their lives trying to master the external world. They want to master their finances, their relationships, their career, their future, their results. They devote years seeking more control, more security, more certainty. Yet despite all their efforts, many remain trapped in an invisible battle. A battle taking place within themselves. For there is a truth that the great spiritual teachings have passed down for centuries. You cannot truly master your life if you do not master your mind. And you cannot truly master your mind if you ignore your soul. That is why so many people move through life with a constant sense of restlessness. Sometimes they obtain what they desired. Then they discover that the emptiness is still there. They reach a goal. Then a new need appears. They seek peace in circumstances. When peace does not live in circumstances, it lives in consciousness. The untrained mind functions like a stormy sea. One thought calls forth another thought. One emotion triggers another emotion. One fear feeds another fear. And soon, the person no longer acts. They react. They no longer choose their direction. They follow their impulses. They follow their conditioning. They follow their automatic patterns. This is how many people live. Without even realizing it. They believe they are free, while they obey their mental habits. They believe they are choosing, while they are simply repeating the same patterns. Day after day, year after year. Authentic spirituality begins when this reality becomes visible. When you realize that your greatest challenge is not the world. Your greatest challenge is your inner state. It is not the situation that dominates you. It is often your interpretation of the situation. It is not the obstacle that limits you. It is often the fear that the obstacle creates. It is not uncertainty that paralyzes you. It is your relationship with uncertainty. This realization changes everything, because it shifts your attention. Instead of trying to control every event, you learn to observe your mind. Instead of constantly trying to change the external world, you begin to transform your inner world. And that is where true mastery begins. Most people want to immediately change their circumstances. The wise begin by observing their consciousness. They understand one essential thing. Everything that exists externally is temporary. Success passes. Failure passes. Pleasure passes. Difficulties pass. Even the greatest storms eventually disappear. But the one who observes all these experiences remains. That silent presence. That deep consciousness. That part of you that exists behind thoughts. Behind emotions. Behind the roles you play in the world. Spiritual traditions have given it different names. The soul. The spirit. Consciousness. The deeper self. No matter the word used, the experience remains the same. The closer you move toward this inner presence, the less you are governed by external fluctuations. Then you discover something astonishing. Freedom does not consist in controlling everything that happens. Freedom consists in no longer being a slave to every thought that passes through your mind. For not every thought deserves to be followed. Not every fear deserves to be believed. Not every emotion deserves to be obeyed. An undisciplined mind treats every thought as truth. A trained mind learns to observe before believing. This capacity for observation is sacred. It creates a space between impulse and action, a space between fear and decision, a space between anger and reaction. And it is within this space that your true power resides. Mastery of the mind does not mean suppressing thoughts. It means no longer being dominated by them. Mastery of the soul does not mean escaping the world. It means remaining connected to your essence while fully living in this world. Many people imagine that spirituality means distancing yourself from responsibilities, distancing yourself from challenges, distancing yourself from difficulties. It is the opposite. True spirituality prepares you to move through life more effectively, with greater clarity, greater stability, greater presence. For an awakened soul does not flee from storms. It learns to navigate through them. An awakened soul does not seek to eliminate every challenge. It develops the wisdom necessary to move through them. Gradually, something begins to change. You observe more. You react less. You listen more. You judge less. You feel more. You identify less with what you feel. This transformation appears subtle, yet it is immense, because it changes the quality of every one of your experiences. The same events continue to happen, but they no longer produce the same effects. The same difficulties appear, but they no longer steal as much peace. The same uncertainties exist, but they no longer control your mind as strongly. This is how true inner strength is born. Not through domination, not through excessive control, not through rigidity, but through awareness, presence, observation, alignment. Over time, this practice becomes a way of living. You gradually stop being carried away by every mental agitation. You gradually stop feeding every fear. You gradually stop losing yourself in every passing emotion. You develop a deeper stability. A stability that does not depend entirely on circumstances. A stability that does not depend on approval. A stability that does not depend on immediate results. This stability becomes your anchor. And when the mind becomes calmer, something else appears. A subtler wisdom. A clearer intuition. A deeper direction. As if your soul finally had enough space to express itself. That is when the true journey begins. The journey of inner mastery. The journey of consciousness. The journey of union between the mind and the soul. For before transforming the world around you, a more important transformation must take place. The transformation of the one who observes this world. And this transformation always begins in the same place. Within. Here. Now. In this moment of awareness. Spiritual discipline, the path of souls that rise. Most people believe that spiritual transformation happens during an extraordinary moment. A revelation. A vision. A profound experience. A sudden awakening. They imagine that one day, everything will change all at once. That peace will appear. That wisdom will settle within them. That doubts will disappear. But the greatest spiritual teachings tell another story. Awakening can be instantaneous. Transformation, however, is progressive. For seeing the light once does not yet mean knowing how to walk with it. Many people feel a spiritual calling. They experience a moment of clarity. They discover a profound truth. They feel a new connection with their soul. Then daily life returns. Responsibilities, distractions, habits, old thoughts, old patterns, and little by little, the light they glimpsed begins to fade away. Not because it has disappeared, but because their attention has shifted. This is where true spiritual discipline begins. Not when everything is easy. Not when everything is inspiring. Not when motivation is present. But when nothing seems extraordinary. For the growth of the soul is built in ordinary moments. In silent choices. In invisible decisions. In repeated habits. Day after day. The human mind constantly seeks intensity. It wants to feel more. See more. Obtain more. But the soul functions differently. It seeks depth. Presence. Alignment. Inner coherence. That is why the greatest spiritual progress often goes unnoticed. You become a little more patient. A little more conscious. A little more self-mastered. A little more inwardly free. And these small evolutions eventually transform an entire life. Spiritual discipline is not a punishment. It is not a constraint. It is not a permanent battle against oneself. It is an act of love toward your soul. It is the daily decision to nourish what is highest within you. Even when no one is watching. Even when no one applauds. Even when the results are invisible. For the soul often grows in silence. Like a seed growing beneath the earth. Like the roots of a tree developing before the fruits appear. The modern world teaches impatience. The soul teaches perseverance. The world wants immediate results. The soul builds the eternal through small repeated actions. Every time you choose awareness over automatic behavior, you strengthen your mind. Every time you choose peace over reaction, you elevate your soul. Every time you choose presence over distraction, you move forward on your path. Even if you cannot see it yet. Many people give up too soon. They believe nothing is changing. They think their efforts are useless. They think they are stagnating. But they forget a fundamental truth. The greatest transformations are invisible before they become visible. The tree grows for a long time before it is noticed. The sun appears long after dawn. And the soul often evolves long before the mind becomes aware of it. That is why it is essential to continue. Continue when inspiration is strong. Continue when it is absent. Continue when the heart feels light. Continue when doubt appears. Continue when the path seems obvious. Continue when it seems mysterious. For spiritual discipline creates something precious. It creates trust. Not trust in circumstances. Not trust in results. Trust in the process. Trust in life. Trust in the wisdom of your soul. From that moment on, your relationship with hardship changes. You no longer constantly ask, "Why is this happening to me?" You begin to ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That question transforms everything. It transforms pain into learning, waiting into preparation, failure into experience, doubt into an invitation to grow. The mind then becomes more stable, more disciplined, more lucid. And when the mind becomes more lucid, the soul can finally express itself fully. For a powerful soul needs a mastered mind in order to manifest in the world. Without inner mastery, wisdom remains theoretical. With inner mastery, it becomes a way of living, a way of thinking, a way of speaking, a way of acting. Little by little, you stop chasing every distraction. You stop pursuing every impulse. You stop depending on every emotion. You learn to remain centered, aligned, present. This stability becomes a strength that circumstances can no longer easily shake, a strength that grows in silence, a strength that does not depend on the gaze of others, a strength that comes directly from your connection with your deepest being. And this is precisely what distinguishes the souls that truly progress. They do not seek inspiration alone. They cultivate discipline. They do not merely seek the light. They become capable of walking with it. Every day. Again. And again. And again. For they know that true awakening is not an event. It is a practice. A commitment. A way of being. Before continuing on your path, take a moment. What spiritual habit would you like to strengthen in your life today? Meditation? Gratitude? Prayer? Presence? Mastery of your thoughts? Share your answer in the comments. Your experience could inspire other people who are also walking this path of awakening. And if this message resonated with you, if you wish to continue exploring teachings on mastering the mind, elevating the soul, and spiritual wisdom, then take a few seconds to support this channel. Leave a like, subscribe, and activate the notification bell. Every subscription helps these teachings reach more people seeking inner peace and consciousness. Remember this. The soul grows in silence. The mind becomes stronger through discipline. And transformation always begins with a simple choice repeated every day. Choose consciously. And keep moving forward. Inner peace begins with awareness. The world constantly pulls your mind toward noise, fear, distraction, and reaction. But true strength is found in inner calm. Spiritual growth begins when you stop identifying with every thought and emotion that passes through you. Instead of reacting automatically, you learn to observe. A thought appears. You notice it. An emotion rises. You allow it without losing yourself in it. This simple shift changes everything. You become the observer, not the noise. Life will always bring challenges and uncertainty, but when your peace comes from within, external circumstances lose their power over you. Little by little, through awareness, presence, and self-mastery, the mind becomes calmer and the soul becomes clearer. And in that inner stillness, true freedom begins.